Hello everyone, my name is Linda Veray. I'm an air quality analyst with the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality. I'm here to provide an overview on DEQ's diesel school bus replacement program. I will provide a brief background on the program and the grant application process, including grant requirements, management and reporting. I'll also leave you with additional resources to assist you in this program. Some program background information. Since 2009, the Volkswagen Group of America sold diesel passenger cars in the United States with emission control defeat devices that violated federal motor vehicle emission standards. Software was installed in more than 590,000 vehicles that resulted in emissions of nitrogen oxides up to 40 times the allowed limits. The resulting lawsuits were resolved in a partial consent decree, essentially a settlement against Volkswagen on behalf of the United States and vehicle owners. The decree requires Volkswagen to provide more than $2.9 billion to Environmental Mitigation Fund to mitigate previous and current excess emissions of nitrogen oxides by these non-compliant vehicles. The initial allocation to the state of Oregon, based on registration share of Volkswagen diesels by state, is approximately $72.9 million to be spent over 10 years. The 2017 legislature determined that Oregon's initial approach to reducing harmful diesel emissions will begin with DEQ's school bus replacement and emission reduction project. The school bus plan for Oregon is to address at least 450 diesel-powered school buses with emission reduction strategies, including either bus replacement or exhaust control retrofitting. The program is to scrap, recycle, and replace qualifying buses, offering 30% or up to $50,000 of the replacement bus costs, whichever is less. The new bus can be powered by new diesel, propane, natural gas, or electricity. The eligible buses for replacement are 2005, 2006, and 2007 vehicle model year buses. These buses must have at least 3 years of remaining useful life, have been used in Oregon in the preceding 12 months, and continue to operate in Oregon for at least 3 years following. The assistance amount offered is up to 100% of costs to purchase and install retrofit exhaust controls. The eligible buses for replacement and retrofitting are 2005, 2006, and 2007 vehicle model year buses. Here's a summary of the grant process. DEQ will be notifying school districts of their eligibility. The school districts will be applying to the grant program. Afterwards, DEQ reviews those submitted application materials and, upon approval, create grant agreements. The school will comply to the grant agreement and be reimbursed after their purchase. School will continue to report on these new vehicles or equipment. So DEQ is committed to moving quickly and efficiently through this process to help school districts clean up their dirty diesel engines as fast as possible. During this overview, we're going to focus on the details needed for the grant application and the grant agreement process. In January 2018, the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality selected school districts to receive grant funding to support the replacement or retrofitting of specific buses within school districts' fleet using a randomized selection process. DEQ has actively notified schools of their eligibility and are working to recruit school districts to participate in this grant program. I will be serving as the primary point of contact throughout the grant process and work with school districts to reduce diesel emissions from qualified bus or buses. School districts will receive an invitation to participate in the program via email and a follow-up phone call. Items DEQ will need during this phase include confirmation of the number of qualified buses, the person who has signature authority on behalf of the school or district, the preference of emission reduction technology, replace or retrofit, the estimated contract amount, and the start date for the work. For folks planning to replace old buses, this reimbursement program will support acquisition of new buses. In regards to the replacement buses, an older bus must be replaced by one that is no older than one model year from the current year or newer. For example, if we sign our grant agreement in 2020, the replacement bus must be a vehicle model year 2021, 2020, or 2019. This requirement prevents the purchase of used or older buses. This slide shows a portion of the grant application that is required. This information will be reviewed by staff to ensure program eligibility. The application requires information such as the taxpayer ID number and the DUNS number. Please note the DUNS number must be publicly viewable on SAM.gov. SAM.gov is the System for Award Management, SAM. It's an official website of the US government. There's no cost to use SAM.gov. You can use this site for free to register to do business with the US government, update or renew your entity registration, check the status of an entity registration, and search for entity registration and exclusion records. Again, it is important that your DUNS number be publicly viewable on SAM.gov. For each grant agreement, a school district will need to provide a few key details about their school buses, including the school bus number, vehicle identification number, engine manufacturer, engine model, and the engine model year. This slide shows an example of the detailed information that must be provided for each eligible bus. This information will allow us to qualify the bus to participate in the program. We are especially interested in the engine model year. The 2005, 2006, and 2007 buses are eligible for replacement because their older engine technology pollutes more than new diesel engines. They also have the longest remaining lifespan of older diesel buses, making them the highest priority for scrapping, recycling, and replacing. Also, the 2005, 2006, and 2007s are vehicle model years, not the engine model years, but we do want to know the engine model year. In order to help school districts find and fill out required information about the engine model year and the family name, this information is also included in the application. Hopefully, school districts can use these photos and highlights to guide their research under the hood of eligible buses. The EPA engine family name is a 12-character number/letter designation included on the engine nameplate for all heavy-duty truck engines sold in the United States. In general, the nameplate is permanently affixed to the engine. The exact location and appearance of the nameplate varies by the engine manufacturer. We have included examples of nameplates from major engine manufacturers in the application. In this slide, this is a Caterpillar engine example. The Caterpillar nameplate includes the EPA family name here, which you see, a 5CPX H0928EBK. The engine model year is 2005, and the engine horsepower is 475. As previously mentioned, schools will comply to a grant agreement. Once we have a signed grant agreement in place, the school district will receive a notice to proceed. During that time, they can call on me and staff at DEQ to support replacement and their retrofit efforts. School districts are reimbursed after the purchase and completion of their closeout materials. Also, the school district will continue to report on their new vehicles or equipment. At the agreed upon end date of the project, a school district will need to provide certification and the photos of the destruction of either the 2005, 2006, or 2007 diesel school bus. This form provides an example of the documentation and also will go over photos required to process a reimbursement. For the photos, we'll need a side profile of the vehicle, the VIN number, the engine label, the chassis rail cut in half, and the engine block prior to the hole and engine block after the hole. Buses that are being replaced must be scrapped within 90 days. The older bus requires credible documentation or assertion that the bus would have remained in service at least 3 years. Here are some of those sample photographs regarding the proof of destruction. Here we see a side profile of the vehicle, the VIN plate, the engine label, chassis rail cut in half, engine block prior to the hole, and engine block after the hole. These photos include a school who has submitted this information and actually have place cards so we can see exactly what image is being observed. Here's a list of grant resources. We have our program webpage, which has information regarding the specific grant program and documents that are available. The grant application is a fillable PDF required by the school district. The grant school bus fleet information, which is vehicle information required for the eligible vehicle model years. The recognized clean diesel service providers is a list of certified retrofit providers that are available, and the certificate of destruction. So this is a required form to be completed by a scrapyard in addition to the previously shown photos. Again, this is for reimbursement purpose. Completed applications must be received by your designated deadline. If you have any concerns regarding the application deadline, please contact us in advance. So for any DEQ support, questions and answers, or follow-ups on your signed agreements, please contact me, Linda, at dieselgrants@deq.state.or.us, or feel free to reach me at 503-229-5159. Thank you.